Even though NBA free agency is just around the corner, that's not stopping teams from trying to make moves now. Just the other day, we saw the Chicago Bulls send Alex Caruso to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Josh Giddey, and since then, we haven't seen any other moves made, just a lot of rumblings and rumors. However, we do have reports showing that the Dallas Mavericks are showing interest in Tobias Harris. And just this last playoffs, if you've been paying attention, Tobias Harris did not play that well in the playoffs. Definitely put below average stats in the first round where they did lose to the New York Knicks. However, he is determined to prove people wrong as the 76ers may be looking to move forward from their veteran forward. So in this video, we're going to break down those reports and look over what does Tobias Harris bring to the Dallas Mavericks and what will it cost the Dallas Mavericks to facilitate a potential sign and trade for the veteran forward. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavericks Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with this video, you guys have been doing just a great job of just smashing that notification bell. We are at 8.5%. If we could just get a few more people to hit that bell, try to get to about 10%, I'd appreciate it greatly. It's the off season, but it's not my offseason. There is news going on, trades, rumors, the free agency's coming up, the draft is coming up. We are not stopping with the content, and you don't want to miss out on a single thing we do, so make sure you ring that bell, and I appreciate it. But like I said, Tobias Harris, he's a player that the Dallas Mavericks are being linked to, and if we just look right here, per Chris Haynes, live on the Bleacher Report app, names the Mavs as one of the teams expected to have some level of interest in Tobias Harris this summer. Would have to be a sign and trade. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons that comes with Tobias Harris. He is 31 years old, but that's not really that much younger than Kyrie Irving. He is a veteran in this league, kind of a journeyman. He's been around. He's also on a very hefty 5-year, $180 million contract where he is owed $45 million this year, and he will be an unrestricted free agent next year, which could be a pro if you think about it. It's an expiring contract. We get him for next year, see if we could actually make it back to the finals, potentially winning the finals, and then he's an unrestricted free agent. Either we could re-sign him to something more team-friendly or we let him walk. But that also poses a risk if we do try to facilitate a sign and trade for Tobias Harris and it doesn't work out and he just leaves in unrestricted free agency. Then we're scrambling, trying to get more players. The last thing you want to do when you're a championship-bound team is let players walk for nothing. But if we take a look at Tobias Harris' stats for the season, he is averaging 17.2 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 0.7 blocks, and 1 steal per game while shooting 48% from the floor and 35% from three. He's 6'8", only 31 years old. He shoots 40% on corner threes. 95% of his threes are assisted, while he's shooting, 27% of all shots are threes. And most Dallas Mavericks fans, if not all Dallas Mavericks fans, know that the one problem we had in the playoffs, especially in the finals, was our three-point shooting ability. I mean, we got players like Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington, who both shot the three ball very well in the Oklahoma City Thunder series. But in the playoffs, that just wasn't the case. We also know that Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are amazing from three. They're very good three-point shooters, but the same problem happened in the playoffs, especially in the finals. That three ball was just nowhere to be found. We had to rely on just getting points in the paint. Luka Doncic driving. Guys still try to shoot threes, but ultimately that was one of our biggest issues, along with free throw shooting. But if we look at those pros and cons again, I mean, Tobias Harris being that third scoring option that everybody's been saying we need, could potentially help the Dallas Mavericks in that aspect. I still believe that PJ Washington could grow into that third scoring option for us. We do need more three-point shooting, that's true, but we also need players who can put the ball on the floor and attack the rim, which is also Tobias Harris. Jason Kidd loves to play 5 out. He loves to go small ball with Maxi Kleber for whatever reason. It just doesn't really work for us. But with a player like Tobias Harris, that does add that extra layer of, yeah, we might be able to go small. And if we do get Tobias Harris, the roster, I mean, the starting lineup might be a little bit weird, and it all depends if we keep Derrick Jones Jr. And if we do keep Derrick Jones Jr., we can facilitate a sign and trade to get Tobias Harris. You would probably put Derrick Jones Jr. to the bench. You got PJ Washington and Tobias Harris on the 3 and 4. You got Lively or Gafford at the 5. And you got Kyrie and Luka at the 1 and 2. Which is a pretty good starting 5 in my opinion. You would probably take some getting used to, but that could really work for us. Just adding more defense as well. Tobias Harris is a good defender. In that game that we played towards the end of the season, Tobias Harris was just causing mayhem on the Dallas Mavericks offense. So just adding that layer of defense, which we're already good at defense, but also adding that extra layer of scoring if Luka or Kyrie are cold, or if guys off the bench are cold, Tobias Harris could definitely step up. And while on the 76ers, Tobias Harris is typically their second scoring option, depending on who's injured, with Joel Embiid always being injured. And you got Kelly Oubre, who's sometimes in and out. Tobias Harris has had to step up and being a number 1 or number 2. But as a third scoring option without that added pressure, I think Tobias Harris could really flourish in our system, especially when you look at how many wide open threes Luka and Kyrie sets up these guys. we get guys open for shots. The problem is they don't fall, and Tobias Harris could be that missing piece. But if we look on the other side of it, if we look at the cons, he's 31 years old. Like I said, he's not that much younger than Kyrie. However, he didn't play that well in the playoffs. If we look at the stats right here, at the bottom line are his stats for this past playoffs. In the first round, they lost to the Knicks in 6 games, and he averaged 36 minutes a game, and in 36 minutes, he averaged 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 1.5 assists, shooting 43% from the floor and only 33% from 3. But the 2 lines above are how well he did last year in the first and second round. In the first round last year, when the Philadelphia 76ers swept the Brooklyn Nets, in 33 minutes per game, he averaged 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. In the next round, where they did lose to the Boston Celtics in 7 games, on 36 minutes of games, his numbers did go down. He averaged 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 1.5 assists, averaging 48% from the floor and 29% from 3. So you can say that maybe he's regressing. Maybe Tobias Harris isn't that player that he once was. And I'd argue that maybe he just needs a lesser role, a spot-up shooter, a third scoring option, someone who doesn't have that many responsibilities on offense and not used as a main driving force of the offense, but more like an option. We all know Luka and Kyrie will score the majority of our points. Luka is amazing at attacking the basket, shooting threes, and getting to the line. And a player like Tobias Harris, who can do those things, but maybe not at the level of Luka and Kyrie, can still excel and still flourish in a system where, hey, you're a third scoring option. We can put you in a corner because 95% of all your threes are assisted. You will get open shots. You just got to knock them down. I believe that Tobias Harris still has value to a championship-bound team, but it looks like the 76ers might not feel the same way. I saw a few other reports that he will be an unrestricted free agent next year, but they aren't really talking about an extension. So if Tobias Harris wants to prove people wrong that he still has a lot of value, this signing trade could potentially work. However, the signing trade wouldn't be that easy. Like I said, he is owed $45 million, which is a lot of money for a player that only averaged 9 points and 7 rebounds in his past playoffs. But I got into the lab and I played GM and I tried to cook something up here. Now, it did say success, but that's because but there's a reason for that. There is a cap hold for the 76ers, so it's not really showing the money right now. But if we could send Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, and Maxi Kleber for Tobias Harris, I think that could really work. I mean, I don't want to get rid of Josh Green. I love the hustle from Josh. However, we do have young guys that will have some value on the trade market this summer. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a player that pretty much is ready to go. We're ready to move on from Tim Hardaway. We're tired of the inconsistencies, the high highs and low lows, the high risk and high reward of Tim Hardaway. We're over it. We're ready for a championship, and we need consistency. And Maxi Kleber, who plays the same position as Tobias Harris, isn't as good as Tobias Harris. So the 76ers kind of gets fleeced in this trade, in my opinion. The only real shining spot in this trade for the 76ers is Josh Green. However, they are getting an expiring contract in Tim Hardaway Jr., which could also sweeten the pot. However, we are close to that second apron, so absorbing Tobias Harris' contract in any type of sign and trade scenario, I'm not really sure how much money he'd really command, would be very tough for us. However, we do have new owners, and a report just here, because Nico Harrison had a press conference today, and one of the quotes from that press conference, per Nico, saying money will not be an object this offseason, but we are going to be smart about it. To me, that sounds like we got money to spend, an open checkbook. The new owners know that this team is primed and ready for a finals run. And if Nico Harrison, like we've seen over the last few years, continues to make magic work, go out and get guys that work for us, that really work for themselves as well as for the team and just fit the system well, we're going to win a championship in the next few years. Whether that's Tobias Harris, whether that's Paul George, as some people have been saying, is to be seen. Free agency is just a week away. There's a lot of rumors going around, and you don't want to miss out on a single thing because we're going to report on everything. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for making this far to the video. Make sure you check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing another free giveaway. The winner will be announced the first week of July, and the only way to enter our giveaway is to become a channel member of any tier. But you guys let me know down in the comment section if you are interested in Tobias Harris. Do you think that's a player that we could potentially go after to help this team? Or do you think it's just way too much money and it wouldn't be worth our time? It's too big of a move that would ruin things. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. And as always, drink water. Peace.